Right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. This morning it's bumper action of WSL football as we've got 4 games to talk through this morning. I do love these Sundays where we've got a full schedule of WSL fixtures. The game we're going to be focusing on is Tottenham versus Brighton, if I can successfully manage to locate it on the Sky Sports Plus app. That's what we're going to hope for. But it should be a really exciting game today. 2 sides that have started this season very well. I think Tottenham, to many, that would be a bit of a surprise. I did think they would start this season well, and they have done. They've got 9 points from 4 games so far. The only game that they dropped points in was the match against Manchester City, where they did get thumped. But other than that, it's been really impressive performances. And I think the thing that has surprised me most about the Tottenham performances, because I thought they would do well this season. For anyone that watched the predictions video, I said they'd be just off the top half, probably in about 7th, 8th. But I didn't think they'd do this well so early on. I think the biggest thing that surprised me has been their defensive record so far this season, because last season Tottenham was so poor defensively. They conceded the most penalties in the league. They seem to regularly make defensive errors leading to goals. But this season it's been so tight. I think the Man City game was a bit of a blemish on that record because once again they conceded a penalty in that game. They were quite sloppy defensively, but I think other than that, this season they've been really strong defensively. They took on Everton in Matchweek 2. That was a game against a side who looked really good at Matchweek 1, scored a lot of goals against Liverpool, and they completely shut them out. So yeah, they've had a lot of good performances so far this season. Tottenham last week they beat a very weak Leicester side at the moment, but that was a strong professional job. In the second half, they had that lead and they just saw it out. So yeah, I've been really impressed with how Tottenham have got on so far, and now, regardless of the result today, they will be ahead of Arsenal at the end of this match week, which is incredible. They could be 4 points ahead of Arsenal if they win today. And of course, the fixtures have been kind to them. But if they can take belief from this run, if they can take momentum, they've got a difficult run coming up, but if they can take belief, take momentum, maybe they can keep this form going. It's going to be difficult, but we'll see what they can do. But yeah, they've started the season really well. Brighton, likewise, have started well. Less of a surprise, Brighton, considering how they started last season. But to be in the position they're in, where they've already registered quite a few points this season, despite the fact they've played some difficult opponents, they've already played Man City, they probably should have got more than the loss that they got in that game. I think they deserved at least a draw. They played really well, especially first half, where City did step it up massively second half, but first half they were excellent. And they played Aston Villa as well in Matchweek 1, which was a very difficult game. But strong wins over West Ham last week. That was an absolute drubbing. 2 weeks ago against West Ham 4-1. Last weekend, professional job again against Everton. So Brighton have put themselves in a really strong position, and they play Tottenham today, and you'd expect that to be an interesting game. That could really go either way. I really don't know what to expect today. I could see either side winning it. When it comes down to predictions, it's going to be really hard to predict because I think either side could win it. But yeah, I think Brighton will start the season well. They'll be looking to keep that going today. Both sides will start the season well. They'll be looking to keep that going today. And as I say, if Tottenham win, they can go 4 points above Arsenal. They can move up ahead of Manchester United as well, I believe. And if Brighton win, well, they could put themselves onto 10 points, jump both Tottenham and Arsenal, and get up into 4th place. So whatever the result is today, it's going to be bad for Arsenal. And I think, so, Tottenham fans, that's the bonus. Whatever happens today, Tottenham will be ahead of Arsenal after 5 match weeks. But yeah, a good start to the season for both these sides. Should be interesting to see how it goes. Also, it's going to be hard to predict. Could be amazing or boring, like a 0-0 or 3-2 type thing. Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. I think, considering both sides are quite good defensively, we could see them sort of cancel each other out, make it really difficult to break each other down. But as you say, on the flip side, we could see both sides open up a little bit more and this become a very high-scoring game. So, yeah, completely agree with you there that this really could go either way. But yeah, I think it will be a good game, regardless of what the score is. Whether it is that 0-0 type game, I think there will be chances. I think it will be close. Or if it is more of a 3-2 type game, obviously that's going to be a fun game. Anyone who can't enjoy a 3-2, what are you doing with your life? It's going to, that's naturally going to be a very fun game of football. But yeah, I think this will be a good match, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, should be a good one. Let's get into the lineups then, and I have successfully found the game on on the Sky Sports app. So that is a relief. We can at least watch the match. That was my biggest concern coming into today because I didn't realise what app it was on. Well, let's get into the lineups then, and we'll start with the visitors, the hosts Tottenham, at what is now known as the Bet Right Stadium in London. I can't remember what they used to call it, the Leyton Orient Ground, but it's got a sponsor now. We'll start with the host Tottenham. In goal, it's Lisa Kopp, a back four of Neville, Koga, Hunt and Nilden, so it's Ash Neville's first start of the campaign. In the pivot, it's Evelina Summanen alongside Drew Spence. On one flank, Jess Naz. On the other, Olivia Holt finally starts a game of football. England in the 10, and Katinka Tandberg, one of the best performers of Tottenham so far this season, starting through the middle. So I really like the balance that they've got in this side, Tottenham. I'm intrigued to see how Ash Neville performs because I think Rybreak's been really good this season. We saw when Grant came in, she struggled a little bit in that City game. I think they work better with a more natural centre-half playing that right-back position because of how that Tottenham back three, or because of how the Tottenham defence moves. You see Nilden push high and you see the situational back three. I think it works better when you've got a natural centre-half on that right-back position, but you know, Ash Neville's an experienced player. It's a role that she'll be hoping she can adapt to. And I think that's why we're seeing Martin Ho put that trust, put that faith in her today, that she'll be able to adjust to it and be able to do that role adequately. So, yeah, it's important that she steps up today and shows those leadership qualities and is able to perform from that right-back position. As for the rest of the team, I've really liked England in the 10 so far this season. I don't think it worked last year, but this season she has become more of a creator player rather than the out-and-out goal scorer. And I think, you know, she's already got, 2 assists, I believe, this season? One goal, 1 assist. But yeah, she's done really well, England. Still on penalties, of course, and will still contribute in the goals for Tottenham. But I think if you can get her to create from outside the box, if you can get those cutbacks to her on the edge of the box where she can then take shots, I think she can become a hugely important player for Tottenham. I mean, she already has been over the most recent seasons. But yeah, I think that new role really suits her. And Katinka Tandberg, 2 goals, 1 assist so far, playing as the central striker, has looked really sharp to start this season. Olivia Holt coming into the side, 2 goals from her last 2 games. You can't really argue with that. And so as harsh it is on perhaps Olga Artinen, who also started the season rather well, you can't really bench Olivia Holt in that sort of form. The big one for me is Jess Naz has got to perform. 4 matches this season, yet to register a contribution, average rating of 6.36. She has to perform today. The amount of time this season where she's picked up the ball, she looks like she could drive down the flank, and it just doesn't quite happen. Then I need to see more from Jess Naz today if Tottenham are gonna get anything from this game. So yeah, I want to see more from her. Let's take a look then at the visitors, and for Brighton it is also a 4-2-3-1. In goal, Chiamaka Enadozie joined in the summer from Paris FC and has been a revelation between the sticks for Brighton. In the back four, it's McLaughlin, Rule, Hayes and Ollis Lagers. In the midfield pivot, it's Kankovic alongside Maisie Simmons, the captain. In attacking midfield, it's Nordam. On one flank, Seke. On the other, Rosa Kafaji. And then leading the line, Michelle Aguimet. Now, of course, those wide players are going to be quite narrow. We know this Brighton system. They're going to look to be quite transitional today. This will be quite interesting because both these sides are very good at being quite defensive and inviting on pressure and then looking to spring in behind and use that space in behind the opposition. But both of these sides are going to be looking to do that today. So what changes? Are Brighton going to... I know Brighton are more of a possessional side, but both do look to play out from the back. So is one of these sides going to become more of the possessional dominant team and one of them going to become more of a pressing, aggressive team? That's what will be interesting to see. But yeah, I think it should make for what is a very interesting tactical game. But yeah, I think this will be a very enjoyable watch. Let's take a look at what you guys are saying in the live chat. Ryan says, so either way we get more Arsenal head loss. That is very likely indeed. Oliver says, yes, in Champions League winners, not in Champions League places. They've had some tough games start the season, but yeah, dropped a lot of points. C-Day says, how long till kick-off? Only 6 minutes now until we get underway in this game. So we'll get into predictions in just a moment. It's a very weird kick-off time today. I would love to talk to Nikki Doucette and the Sky Sports team and why we've got an 11:55 kick-off on a Sunday, but there we go. Normally it's a 12. Not sure why it's slightly earlier today. But yeah, it's not on YouTube. But if you can't find a way to watch it, feel free to join me on this stream. I'll be watching along the game and commentating over it. But yeah, should be an interesting one. I think, as I say, I think both these sides will start the season really well. They'll come into this with a lot of confidence. Both teams are on good form, so yeah, it should be interesting watch. As for Brighton, I spoke about a few Tottenham individuals, Brighton individuals, of course. Enadozie, I mentioned while doing the lineup, has been so sharp to start this season, has been so impressive. I think a big part of Brighton's success this year and why ultimately it sort of fell apart at the back end of last season was a lack of a quality goalkeeper who could play the style of play that Vidicic wants. So I think to have Enadozie in there, who is really comfortable with the ball at her feet, but also a phenomenal shot stopper, I think that makes a huge difference, and it has made Brighton look a lot more secure defensively. So that's been really important for them to start this season. Enadozie. Some other players, Kafaji and Agyemang, the double Arsenal loan, though, they linked up really well last week, and obviously Kafaji touching it down for Agyemang for the goal. And I think if they can continue that form and that connection, not only will Brighton be very fruitful, but I think Arsenal will be very happy. However, if Brighton win today and jump Arsenal, I think the Arsenal higher ups who decide to loan those players out may have some questions over that decision, because then they will be ahead of Arsenal. But yeah, both sides have done really well to start the season, so this should be a really good clash. It does get a lot harder in terms of fixtures for these sides. Brighton play Arsenal next week, though on their current form, that doesn't look too difficult. But not that's a bit harsh, but it looks like a winnable game in a sense, where you could envision Brighton getting something from that match. Whereas normally you would expect that Arsenal would be very difficult to beat, but they have started the season slowly. So I think Brighton will view that as an opportunity. Is probably a better way to put it. As for Tottenham, well, they've got Chelsea next week and Arsenal in a few weeks' time. So yeah, it does get a little bit tougher for them. They've had a very nice start to the season in terms of fixtures, and that's why they're in the position that they're in. But if they can take confidence and belief from that, it will stand them in really good stead. Let's get into predictions then. If you are watching along with the show, get your prediction in the live chat, scoreline prediction. Let me know how you think this game will pan out. Well, I'll start in the studio. I was about to pan to Harry. Harry's not here, so it's going to rely on me for predictions today. I'm still torn. I haven't thought about this enough. I am going to say that Brighton will edge it just. I was tempted for Tottenham because it's home advantage, but I think Brighton are just slightly stronger as a team. I'm going to say Tottenham 1, Brighton 2, but I think it's going to be very close. I think it's a very competitive game of football. So I'll say Tottenham with a goal through Katinka Tandberg. And then I think for Brighton, it will be Michelle Agyemang again. And I'm going to say Marisa Olaslagas. I think the way that she's able to get forwards in wide areas, but also Brighton's threat from corners. I could see Olaslagas, scoring a goal today for Brighton. Potentially it goes 1-1 and then she gets the winner or something like that. So I'm going to say Tottenham 1, Brighton 2. But I think it'll be close. Oliver going for 1. Oh, Harry's saying 2-2 in the chat as well. Oliver says, I have London versus Liverpool 1. Was trying to find if there was a multi-view. I'm struggling at the moment to get Tottenham Brighton on. It's just not loading on the app that it said it will. Which is the Sky Sports Plus app. Hopefully that does load before kickoff. That could just be that they don't actually put anything on about the game until obviously it kicks off. So hoping that this will work in the next minute, because we should be underway shortly. But it will be a very interesting contest today. But yeah, looking forward to it. Should be a good competitive matchup between two sides who have started the season very well. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they both look tactically, how they both try and play today. And yeah, how they get on. I imagine both sets of players are leaving the tunnel now. Ellie Greystone says, where can I watch the game? That is what I'm trying to do now. Hopefully it will work and I can let you all know where to find the game. But at the moment, this won't load, which is fantastic news. It is apparently on Sky Sports Mix. I checked that this morning. It's not on Sky Sports Mix. They've put on Rugby League highlights instead. But there we go. It's impossible to find anything. Harry says they put the WSL on the back channel whilst Premier League Years is on. Exactly. It's incredibly difficult to find. It's on Sky Sports Plus. If you've got a Skybox and you've got Sky Sports Plus, you can hit the red button. You should be able to find it. If you don't have a Skybox, if you're using Sky Go like me, you have to get the Sky Sports app up on your tablet and watch it on that. But yeah, I'm trying to find out when they do kick off so I can at least have the scoreboards ready. But yeah, hopefully this will load in a moment. If not, we're going to be watching a ticker and trying to find out what's happening. And get Harry in here to sort out the box or something. But yeah, should be a good game of football. We are now underway. So I'm going to put the first half timer on that might be slightly out of time. Not sure why this won't load for me. Hopefully, it won't be long until it's loading. Ryzen says, if you've got a VPN, Greece is giving all matches. Well, that is perfect. If you've got a VPN, you can do that. Go to Greece. Or catch a flight. Just to watch some WSL action. But yeah. Also, I found it on Now TV. I had to search multi-view rather than scroll through the guide. Typical. They make it as difficult as possible to find. But yeah. So we should be underway. Hopefully, mine will load. The problem was encountered. Please try again later. That is not what you want to see. Fantastic, isn't it, that this is put on the back burner while Premier League Years is on the main channel. Morning, FPL Bailey. Well, we'll keep tabs across all the games then, and hopefully I'll be able to get access to Tottenham Brighton at some point in the next few minutes. And then we can get into that game. But keep your questions coming in the live chat. We'll talk through those this morning while we try and get Tottenham Brighton to work. And obviously, if there is a goal, we will keep tabs on that. We'll have a look across the games. Hopefully, it won't be long until I can manage to get it working. If not, we will just put London City, Liverpool on, I guess, is the other option. But yeah, I might be able to work WSL multi-view. So I can watch all the games at once. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Wild says, I reckon Tottenham will get top 3 this season. That's one hell of a prediction. I can't really see anyone toppling the big 4 for those top 3 spots. I think it will probably be... Arsenal will recover eventually, you would assume. I think it will probably be Brighton, Villa and Tottenham that are fighting out for 5th and 6th. But that could be tight. I think, for me, Brighton and Villa are slightly ahead of Tottenham in my estimations right now, just because we haven't seen Tottenham take points off big teams. But potentially that will change. And I mean, if Tottenham win today and they get one over Brighton, they've already got a bit of a points gap to Villa at this early point in the season. That could just see them climb up into 5th early on. Phil, welcome to the stream, says, hi, everybody. I could only find the Liverpool game. Yeah, that is the problem we are encountering as well. The Tottenham Brighton game is on Sky, by the way. They've just made it incredibly difficult to watch, and the Sky Sports app won't load at the moment. But hopefully it will work at some point. And if anyone is having the same problem as me or finds a solution, then let me know. And hopefully we can make it work. But yeah, if not, it's going to be a bit more of a conversational stream. We'll have a chat about the 4 WSL games at this midday kickoff. And yeah. We'll make it work regardless. Welcome everyone to the stream. Fairfield Bay is saying, well, he'll calm down. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get top 3 this season. As I say, I don't really see any of those top sides falling out that heavily. I also think at the moment, even if Arsenal had a huge drop-off, United, City and Chelsea are just all so strong that they'll be fine. I think, after 5 games, all of the big 4 sides have played at least... all of them have played exactly 2 matches against another Big 4 team. And then you consider that Tottenham have only played City and Brighton have only played City. That's why they're on slightly higher points at the moment. You would assume that it will even out eventually. Right. Still not loading Tottenham versus Brighton. Biggest problem with Sky this season, it just doesn't work. But hopefully we will be able to sort out the game shortly. But yeah, and there hasn't been any goals in the first 5 minutes, so at least we haven't missed a goal yet. But hopefully it will be a good day of football. Got a lot of games, a lot of interesting clashes. I think this weekend probably has all of the tightest games, all the scorelines you'd expect to be very close. But yeah, unfortunately, they make it very difficult to actually watch any of them. Just going to see if it'll work on my phone rather than the tablet. Might be able to watch it on that. Whether it is a Sky Sports app problem, which I think it might be. So that is phenomenal. But yeah. Let me try closing it on the tablet. Which of course it will not let me do. But yeah. Anyway. I mean, this is the time it would usually kick off. The 12 o'clocks. Right, so there's weird drama in the penalty box in the Tottenham Brighton. Feels a shame I couldn't find the Arsenal game yesterday. Was that not on main event? I think that's where we watched it. On stream. The BBC game on Friday night, Chelsea Man United, was on BBC 3. I mean, that was appalling that it was that low down in the pecking order. Right, we've got it. It is on my phone, but we have got the game. So if you see me looking down with a broken neck for this stream, that is why. But 5 minutes and 59 seconds in. We're only 20 seconds off with the timer. That's all right then. I'll try and get it in time. Toko Koga down with a slight injury. Hopefully nothing serious because she's been excellent this season for Tottenham. Right, that's the best we can do. 6:46 just to count it down. But yeah, so it's Brighton in yellow, Tottenham in white. At the moment, we're just looking at Martin Ho. Yeah, so Lisa Cott playing out from the back for Tottenham. And the ref gets the game restarted. So we haven't missed anything in the first 6 minutes. Doesn't seem like there's been anything too dramatic. Just Koga down with a knock. And obviously Koff is going to waste as much time as possible to allow Koga to re-enter the fray. She picks up from her hands as Agyemang puts her under pressure. So already Tottenham are trying to go quite high up the pitch here, looking to gain territory with this long kick. Kopp out to the right-hand side. And Naz tries to bring it under her control, tries to drive it forwards. It's a good challenge in there from Olis Largus to knock it out of play. For an asking where to watch the game, it's on the Sky Sports Plus app. Not on Sky Go. Typically. It is the most difficult place to try and watch the game. Ash Neville down the line. England gets the flick on. Not sure she'll be able to keep that in touch, though, and ends up rolling out of play. So Tottenham there looking to try and make a fast start to the game. Brighton, though, halting them in their tracks. And it's Enadozie here. Actually, Brighton will build out from Rule, who passes to Enadozie. Nope, it's now Enadozie who takes the kick. It's been the longest goal kick I've ever seen. But Enadozie will now send it forwards, looking for the target of Michelle Agyemang. He'll drop in there now for Beth England, heads it down to Spence, who tries to fashion a pass out to the right-hand side, does find Naz, and Naz wants to take on Olis Largus, slips it in behind. And while the run of Tamberg was good, it wasn't going to be able to get there ahead of Enadozie, who sweeps it up well. And Brighton now will look to build out from the back. Oliver says, I can't tell the difference between West Ham and Villa. Why can't one of them use a more distinctive kit? What are the kits in that game? I assume one of them is in their away kit, surely. But it's Brighton now on the ball. Michelle Agyemang. Now Nordam out to the right-hand side. One back in there by Nilden. Strong chance from Nordam to get it to Seike, who pokes it back inside. Simmons now manages to find Agyemang. And Nilden deals with it, getting a foot in the way of it. Now Tottenham can look to come forwards. Holt into Tandberg, who tries to play a pass out to the right-hand side, but the referee accidentally intercepts it. Great challenge from the ref. And now it will be Tottenham who regain possession after that. Hunt out to Nilden. Now Holt back to Amanda Nilden. And it's Olivia Holt again who wants to drive the ball forwards here. Positive touches from Holt. Lays it into Tandberg. And Seike quick to regain possession for Brighton. Now Nordam. Seike. Now she can't keep that in touch. It's out now for a Tottenham throw on the near side. Villa's in black in that game. Yeah, that is stupid. Because, yeah, I mean, I'm not watching the game, but black and claret, way too similar. And now it's Tottenham with the ball. Hunt knocks it across to Toko Koga. Here's Spence. Now Hunt again. Here's the thing, Tottenham looks so much more comfortable in possession this season. Someone out to the left-hand side, and Nilden here holding the width effectively. Looks now to drive inside. Past to Spence. She wasn't quite expecting it though, and Brighton turn the ball over. Here's Simmons. They want to go quickly here, Brighton. Koga though assertive with Adjumang, and Tottenham regain possession. And yeah, that's been the biggest signing, I think, for Tottenham. People raving about Katinka Tandberg. But for me, the biggest improvement in the squad has been Toko Koga. Just looks so good. The way she's adjusted to this level immediately, phenomenal. Tottenham with a pass out to the right-hand side. Here's Naz, who takes on Olis Lager. She's got her confidence back. Yes, Naz drives past her, ball into the box. But it's dealt with by Enadozie at the front post, not letting that ball zip across her 6-yard box, zip across the face of goal. Assertive goalkeeping from Chiamaka Enadozie. And it's Tottenham now with a throw-in on the far side. Neville tries to find Naz down the line, bounces out of play for a Brighton goal kick. But yeah, so 11 minutes gone here. Tottenham looking the more positive of the two sides. This is nice from Jess Naz to beat Olis Lagers. Perhaps should have looked for the cut back there. Just didn't really look up. I think that's one of my biggest issues with Jess Naz is that she's very much a head down type kind of player. When she's got the ball, she wants to drive forward. She just focuses on that. She doesn't look up. She doesn't scan her options. I think that would really take her game to the next level. And here is Naz. Wants to take on Olis Lagers again. Squares up to her, cuts inside, takes aim, Jess Naz. But the effort's fairly tame, and Enadozie makes a save. But this is the thing with Naz, and this is why I think I get frustrated when she doesn't perform, because she's clearly got the ability. Like the way that she's able to take players on, the way that she's taking on Olis Lagers, she can go outside, she can cut inside. It's just that decision-making, that final ball, and that effort sometimes. Great defending there from Rule to take the ball off of England, who'd broken into the penalty area. Here is Simmons. Good pressure from Drew Spence, but the referee deems that to be over the line, and that is a Brighton free kick. Harris says credit to Martin Ho. Tottenham look a different team from last season. Absolutely. Absolutely. Martin Ho's done a fantastic job. To have such a quick turnaround in such a short space of time has just been excellent to see. And yeah, they've looked a really good side. Here is Charlie's Rule, who looks to play it in behind. And Seike now in the foot chase with Nilden, but Nilden will win it and knocks it out of play. So a Brighton throw-in, and they have gained territory. They're into the Tottenham third. And McLaughlin throws it in to Adjumang. One back, though, by Tottenham. Holt with nowhere to go. Back to Amanda Nilden. Down the line into Olivia Holt. Tidy footwork, but her pass inside is intercepted. And now here's Keiko Seike in the box. That shot, though, blocked by Nilden. And out now for a Brighton corner. And they can start to put pressure on Tottenham again. Phil says, has Naz started running with the ball again? She was so confusing last year. She has, for me, it's the odd bits where she picks up the ball and you just think she should blast past the fullback, and she doesn't. And she definitely seems to be slower than she once was. I don't know if it's down to injuries, but yeah. Katzenellen says, West Ham versus Aston Villa is unwatchable. You can tell my team is down there. Are they not playing good football? I haven't been too worried about Villa yet. Ball into the box, and that's cleared away well. And flicked on by Spence, and Naz now will look to break away. Driving the ball forwards. It's a good run from Jess Naz. As she crosses into the Brighton half. Needs support now on the left-hand side. It's a tame cross in towards the front post. And well, Tottenham players making an argument here, because Enadozie does get the final touch on it. It seems like she may have already been off the pitch by the time she makes any contact with it, but rightfully Drew Spence there protesting that should have been a corner. I want to see a replay, and they will show one here. She just drove down the left-hand side, put a fairly aimless ball into the box. That had left the pitch before it hits Enadozie. But understandable why Drew Spence called for it. As a Villa do lose today, that's when I'd start to worry. Yeah, you look at their fixtures so far this season. They've played Brighton, Chelsea and Arsenal. They've taken 2 points from that run. I wouldn't be remotely concerned with that. I think that is an incredibly strong tally. I'd expect them to take between 0 to 3. So to be on 2, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. So, yeah, I think draw with Arsenal, really positive result. Draw with Brighton, really positive result. Performance against Chelsea was nothing to be concerned about. They held their own for 45 minutes. And yeah, if they lost today, Villa, I'd be concerned. But I think they'll beat West Ham. And then they'll be fine. They've got a much nicer run of fixtures coming up, I believe. Tottenham throwing on the far side. Beth England back to Naz, now down the line for England, who looks to put it into the box, finds Tandberg. It's blocked well by Hayes, struck by Spence, but it's blocked away. But it's Tottenham who started this game faster. And now it's a Tottenham throw. Holt gives it to Nilden. Back now to Hunt. They've just dictated the ball so far, Tottenham. They've had more of the chances, and Brighton have been penned in. They've been forced into a bit of emergency defending at times. That's a great pass into Tandberg. Now back to Olivia Holt. Out to the left-hand side. And Nilden there dispossessed. Great tackle from the recovering McLaughlin. Does well to get back into her shape there, because it looked like Brighton were caught out by a wide combination from Tottenham. And then a misplaced pass from Hunt, and Brighton clear it away. Toko Koga, though, is the player who receives it. Naz. Back to Koga. Now Lisa Kopp, who will lift it out to the right-hand side. And the ball down the line, and it's Jess Naz now who will look to break down the right-hand side, and she beats Olis Lagers. She's dragged back. Now wants to beat her again. Much more positive from Jess Naz to start this game. Here's Ash Neville. Summonen. Jess Naz. Pokes it inside to England. Back to Naz. Lovely give and go. Wide combination. Ball into the box. Looking for Tandberg, who swings wildly at it. Her and Rule down in the box. Tottenham play on though. Spence flicks it on. Looking for the run of England. Can't quite find her. Ash Neville there. Assertively winning the ball back. And it's out of play for a Brighton throw. I think I just need a little bit more on it from England. She needs to release the ball into space for Naz to run onto. It's a little bit too close to her. But it's a lovely give and go. Great combination. And yeah, Naz had a really positive start to this game. Oliver says West Ham looking the strongest so far. Just had a poor effort, hit the bar, but good position. Fair enough. Well, that is the other thing. Like, West Ham have been incredibly poor this season, but the Tottenham game came down to a penalty, and then they've played Chelsea, Brighton and Arsenal, who are all strong teams, so it's sort of the similar thing to Villa. What I will say is the performances have been very different. Villa have held their own in their games so far, whereas West Ham have been dreadful. But maybe they'll find their level today. Maybe they'll find a strong performance against Villa. Brighton now looking to play down the right-hand side. Kiko Seike. Harry says, usually we've seen more goals by this point on a WSL Sunday. Shows how important all the games are on today. Yeah, they're all very tight fixtures. It's 11:55. I blame the kickoff time. Stupid kickoff time. No, the players are ready. They need that extra 5 minutes of prep. But it's Brighton now with a free kick. Tottenham so far, though, with all of the ball, 61% possession to Brighton's 39%. They've dictated the tempo in this first 18 minutes. But Brighton now with a free kick, and they could sting Tottenham here and get a goal against the run of play. It's Olis Lagers to deliver this. Waiting while the referee discusses why players shouldn't push each other. And now Olis Lagers takes her time. Swinging a ball into the box. It's going to go right on top of the goalkeeper. And Lisa Kopp claims it well. Didn't make the most of that delivery, really, Brighton. And now Nilden. Summonen caught in possession. Does really well, though, to fight and win it back. And now they'll look to play Spence into Holt. Holt can't quite get it under her control. It's sort of between her and Tandberg there. Neither player really know who was going to commit to it. Holt got a foot to it, couldn't keep it under her control. Lovely give and go there between Rule and Simmons. And Rule now will step up from centre half, tries to poke a ball forwards. Turned over by Tottenham. And here's Toko Koga. Picks a safe option. Sorry, that was Ash Neville. She's been brilliant today, Ash Neville, so far. Just look, oh, not brilliant, but looked really solid, I mean. Koga. Down the line. Naz. Good hold up. Back to Neville. Here's Summerham. Lovely turn. Finds Tamberg in space, who now executes a pass towards Drew Spence. Turned over by Tottenham, though. Adjumang takes it in her path. And now drives out to the right-hand side, looking for support. Here is Maisie Simmons. And it's a pass back now to Rule. Nordam receives it well out to the right-hand side. McLaughlin down the line. It's a well-timed run there by Nordam, but she is offside. And that's an unfortunate way for that move to break down, but that's a nice play from Brighton. Nice combinations down the right wing to create space in behind. Poll in chat, by the way, 56 votes so far, 50% going for Brighton, 43% Tottenham and 7% predicting a draw. Keep those votes coming in if you haven't already. Make sure to share the stream if you're enjoying the show. Here is Tottenham. Playing out from the back. Lisa Kopp. Into Spence. Back to Kopp. And now it's Hunt. Out to Nilden on the left-hand side to pass down the line. And it's interception there by McLaughlin. Spence turns it over. And now Brighton looking to play forwards, though, as they win it back. And that's too assertive from Summonen there, as she brings down Helena Kankovic. And so that will be a Brighton free kick. And again, a chance to fill the box. CD, you can't watch it on YouTube. This game isn't on YouTube. Depending on what country you're in. But no, this is one of the Sky picks. The only games that are on YouTube today are Aston Villa, West Ham, and I forget what the other game is. Leicester. I can't remember who they're playing. There's not enough teams in the league for me to forget who they're playing, but can't remember off the top of my head. Ball forwards, and that flicks straight into the hands of Lisa Kopp, who will throw it out now to the right-hand side. Is it Leicester, London? No, London City got Liverpool. Can't remember. Leicester, Everton. There we go. Hunt there, caught in possession. Strong press from Nordam. Hunt does well to win it back, though. Nilden, pass inside to Spence, who shifts it onto Summerham back to England. And it's one back here by Brighton. Adjumang can't quite get it under control, and it's Toko Koga, who now can zip it out to the left-hand side. Great pass into Olivia Holt, who wants to spin McLaughlin. But yeah, no goals in the opening 20 minutes. Slow start to this WSL Sunday. Koga into the feet of Katinka Tamberg. Now Summonen. And now it's with Ash Neville, who looks to play it in behind. That's a well-timed run from Jess Naz. Enadozie out well. It's a bit of a mess, though, between Enadozie and Rule. Enadozie picks a safe option, passing it out wide, and they make up for it. But that was a bit of a mess. One of those, I think if Naz just committed to that, she may well have got to the ball. Or at least made it much more difficult for Enadozie, who ended up clearing it into her own centre half and getting away with it. Here is Drew Spence, and here comes Tottenham out to the left-hand side. It's Amanda Nilden, who swings it into the box towards England, sorry, at the back post. Punched away well by Enadozie. Now it's Naz. Into Neville. And a pass inside to Summerham, back to Naz, who picks out Spence in midfield, out wide with Naz. Summerham. Down the line, finds Tamberg well. Can she look for the cutback? She beats a player. Can't quite keep it in touch, though. And that's out of play for a Brighton goal kick. Just fan welcome says, hi Jack, I hope you're good, my friend. Yeah, I'm all right. Doing well. It's a little bit difficult to watch a game on my phone, but it's all right. We make do. And it's Brighton now looking to play out. Also, yellow card for Paris. I think that's the best action so far. There we go. Holt receives that well, but she's brought down by McLaughlin. Just looked really positive every time she gets on the ball, Olivia Holt. It is a mystery why Robert Villaharm, while they were struggling last season, opted against using Olivia Holt more. She just never started. It was so bizarre. And then she's come into this season, she's been given opportunities. She scored 2 goals in 2 games, and she's looked really sharp from the off here. I could see her scoring a game. Tottenham free kick now. And it'll be Summonen looking to swing it into the box. Well, swing is a bit of an exaggeration. Punt it into the box would be more fitting. It's towards the back post. And it's England looking to keep this alive. Put back in there by Katinka Tandberg, I think that was. And now it's back to Neville, who sends it all the way back to Lisa Cup. But yeah, I've been really impressed with Tottenham so far this season and so far this game. I thought this may be a bit of a step too far from what we've seen from the teams we've seen them perform against. It's just Nasno on the ball, now gives it to Holt, and they can link up down the left-hand side. Holt back down the line, great run from Nas, puts it across the box, great ball into Tandberg, and Tottenham leads. Brilliant move from Tottenham. It's Holt, it's Nas to Holt, back down the line. A great run there from Jess Nas, square to Katinka Tandberg, and she nestles it home well. She's been in great form, Tandberg, and she finds another goal in this game. That is now 3 WSL goals this season for Katinka Tandberg. This is probably the easiest one she'll score all season. But this is lovely between Holt and Nas. Nas times the run to perfection. The ball across the box is excellent. Brighton should deal better with it in the penalty area. 6-yard box defending's really poor in there from Charlie's Rule. But that's a really good finish from Katinka Tandberg. Nas comes across the right side. I love the fluidity in this Tottenham attack. Nas is playing on the right wing. She comes across the left-hand side. She links up there with Olivia Holt. She breaks in behind. She squares the ball. Katinka Tandberg, really well finished. And it's Tottenham 1, Brighton 0. And I forgot to do the scoreboard and all that. Too much excitement that I've forgotten to do my job. Right, there we go. Tottenham 1. Brighton 0, 27 minutes on the clock. The first goal of this WSL Sunday. Harry says, Tandberg again, what a player. Finally, someone in my aerial fantasy team scores a point. What a miracle. I brought in Tandberg this week and she's rewarded me. Thank you, Katinka Tandberg. That's what we all say in unison. Olivia Holt back now to Spence. Into Olivia Holt. Now Summonen. He's going to look to spread the play into England, who tries to touch it onto Nas. Nas will put Rule under pressure. Now Nas will look to put Enadozie under pressure. And that's cleared away. Only as far as Summonen, though. Jess Nas looks a different player. Genuinely different player. Best 20 minutes or 30 minutes I've seen from Jess Nas in about 2 years. Looks so much more positive. Tandberg, good hold up. Can't quite make that work, though. It is out now for a Tottenham throw. Brighton, not working. It's just not working for them in this game so far. We haven't been able to get a foot on the ball, really. Or contain the fluidity of this Tottenham attack. I just feel like because it's so fluid, they don't know who to pick up. I mean, like Beth England's supposed to be playing in the 10 today. I've not seen much of her in the 10. Jess Nas is supposed to be playing on the right flank. And yeah, I've seen her in attack midfield. I've seen her up front. I've seen her on the left wing. It must be incredibly difficult to play against with that much fluidity across the front line. Brighton looking to break down the right-hand side. It's out of play. It's seen out for a throw by Lisa Kopp, who came off her line quite far there. But yeah, Martin Ho looks rather chipper. Albeit now he's engaging in quite a fiery debate with his substitutes. Not just a fiery debate, more of a fiery encouragement with his substitutes. Getting them warmed up. Oliver says, I had Sandberg last on my bench. I've got Holt and not Tandberg. At least I've got Bunny Shaw. Yeah, to be fair, I've got Mariona Caldente. She scored me 10 points. The rest of my team's been 1s and 2s. I've got playing today 2 Brighton players and 2 Tottenham players, and Vinberg hasn't played again. That's been a terrible pick since the start of the season. She just hasn't played. But yeah. You know what Brighton lack? Fran Kirby. It's so obvious when she's not on the pitch because there's just no one up there who receives the ball and looks to make anything happen. Instead, Kafaji has been very quiet. Adjumang's got on the ball, but she's often not had anyone to link up with. Kiko Seike not really got on the ball, quiet again. The front three haven't been involved, and as Harry says, Brighton seem really flat. They've not done anything in this game. And I think they miss Moeka Minami. I believe I'm pronouncing her name correctly. They signed her this summer. She started this season. I think she's out injured at the moment. I mean, that's the only explanation for why she is not starting. And instead it's Rule and Hayes. But, yeah, she's not on the bench. I think she picked up an injury. And the problem is Melissa Pomey hasn't played much. You've got Jocelyn Karabali, who obviously did play last season. But, yeah, not preferred in this game. As for Tottenham's bench, decently strong. You know, the fact they've got options now like Matilda Wimberg from the bench, so we could see her involved. That'd be good for my fantasy team at least. Here's Hunt back now at 2, Lisa Kopp. I think the player getting subbed in is Bizet, so it can't be worse than 1 point really, can it? Neville. Lovely give and go on the right hand side. Now drives narrow with the ball. Here's Summonen, lovely turnout, trying to find Drew Spence, who attempts to poke it on to Olivia Holt, doesn't come off. Good pressure though between Holt and Tamberg, and they win it back off McLaughlin, who drags back Tamberg. Brilliant hold up by Katinka Tamberg. And now she looks to drive forwards. Nilden, excellent play. Can she find the pass in behind? Tries to slot in Tamberg, doesn't quite come off. And it's cleared away in there by Hayes, but it drops for Summonen. Adjumang again just can't get on the ball. She's got no one up there. There's no forwards around her. I know that they try and be very narrow, Brighton, with their forwards, but they're not today. It's not working at all. Here's Hunt. Or at least, I mean, they may be trying, but they're not finding them. Tottenham's midfielders making it really difficult. Ball in behind, it's Tamberg again. Holds it up nicely. Lovely heel. Back pass to Nilden. The cross is very poor. Taylor Wong with the strings says, big up the Women's Football Chat. Thank you, Taylor. Moontrip says, what channel is this game being played on? None of them. The only way you can watch it is on the Sky Sports Plus app. Apparently. But there we go. Oh, it's almost another great chance for Tamberg. Nilden's been so much better in that forwards role. They're giving her that license to get down the left-hand side. Pass inside, cut out by Spence. It'll drop in there for McLaughlin, though. And now Brighton continue coming forward. Seike holds the width well on this right-hand side. Now looks to come inside. He's forced back, though, to McLaughlin, who goes inside to Simmons. And now Brighton can switch from right to left. Hayes into Rule. Obviously, to be fair, West Ham started well, but Villa should be 2-0 up now. But gone wide both times. West Ham have been very wasteful. Interest says, damn, that's interesting. It's so weird. The Sky Sports use of the WSL coverage has been so weird this season. Here's Toko Koga. Slots it into Beth England. Now Neville. Back to Koga. Spence. Here is Jess Naz. Can't quite hold on to the ball. Now Neville. Back to Naz. And there was a foul in there on Ash Neville. Really solid first 33 minutes for Ash Neville in this game. You know, she's not started this season. She was out injured. Jocelyn Rybrink came into that right back position, looked really good. A lot of pressure on Neville to come in and slot in seamlessly, but she's done well. A player I've not been afraid to criticise over the last few seasons because I don't think she's played particularly well, but give her credit where it's due. She's looked good in this game. Here's England. Back now to Naz. Gives it to Spence. Into Summonen. Back to Spence. Lovely link up. Just trying to play 1-2 touch football, though, in a too tight area there. Brighton were very narrow, very compact. No room there. And it's cleared away. Yaz says, can someone tell me where to watch this game on Sky? If you're watching on Sky Go, it won't work. If you're watching on the Sky Box, press the red button on one of the WSL games. It should take you to the Sky Sports Plus section of Sky, and that's where you can find the game. If, like me, you were trying to watch on Sky Go, you have to watch it on the Sky Sports Plus app instead. Summonham into Spence. Lifted in behind for Katinka Tandberg, who holds the ball nicely. That is too aggressive from Hayes, and that is going to be a foul and likely a yellow card. And the referee had the yellow card out of his pocket before the foul even finished being made there, I think. And Caitlin Hayes picks up a yellow card. That was a really silly foul. I understand she's a bit frustrated, but she's just thrown Tandberg on the floor. Not sure you can expect anything other than a yellow card for that one. Yes, you're welcome. And yeah, if you are watching the game and fancy still watching the watch-along, very much appreciated. CD says, I'm on vacation in Mexico and you'll know how I can watch the game here. No idea, mate. To be honest, I don't know who the Mexican broadcaster is. If anyone does, get in the live chat. Free kick now for Tottenham, looking to double their advantage. They've started this game sharply, have Tottenham. And can they find a second goal? It's Evelina Summonen over this. She's a good deliverer of a free kick. Can she now pick out a white shirt in the penalty area? Lifts it in there, not a bad ball, and it's headed away. I thought a Tottenham player might be able to make contact with that, but alas, unable to do so. And that's out, cleared away for a Tottenham throw. It was a good ball. No one, though, able to challenge for it. And it was Caitlin Hayes who got a powerful head away. And Seike then who knocked it out of play. So Tottenham back in possession. Hunt to Koga. Now Neville. Down the line into Summonen. Tries to flick it on. Can't quite manage it. And now Brighton back in possession. Rule. And it's Enadozie. Lovely pass through the lines into Nordam. And here come Brighton. Pass out to the left-hand side. Kafaji receives it well. Has Olis Lagers in support. Shifts it across into Kankovic. Tries to go down the line. And it's one back in there by someone who sees it out for a throw. So Ash Neville here with the throw on the far side for Tottenham. And she throws inside Sue Summonen. Now Hayes heads it away. Back to Naz. Evelina Summonen now switching the play. Finds Amanda Nilden. And shifts it back to Hunt. Alright, so still only one goal across all the games. Very tight affairs all round. I think that's expected though. If you look, I saw someone who is very interested in stats. WSO Analytics, I think, is the account on Twitter. Every week they do the percentage chances of teams winning. I'm not sure what the exact statistics that is behind it, but their estimate was that it was a lot of these games were about a 30% chance of each team winning and then 40% of it being a draw. That's how close it was. And very marginal chances of victory. Whereas normally in the WSL, you look at, I think last week when Chelsea played West Ham, that was about a 63% chance of a Chelsea win. When Arsenal played Villa, that was about a 50 or 60% chance that Arsenal would win. Obviously, they didn't. So it's not, it's not an exact science, but it does give a good indication. Taylor asks, why is Beth England in midfield? Is she a midfielder now? She's been used more as a number 10 by Martin Ho, which I think makes sense. I think with Tandberg coming in, with England starting to become a little bit of an older player, I think that role is slightly less taxing. If you're playing as a striker, you have to be so aggressive as in the press. It can be very difficult to play that role, especially with what Martin Ho wants this Tottenham side to do, which is press super aggressively. But yeah, I think England in that 10 role can still create chances and can still be a goal-scoring outlet from a slightly deeper position. So it makes sense. But yeah, she still contributes, she still takes penalties. Goal and assists so far this season. At times it's more of a front two as well, especially without the ball. It often becomes a 4-4-2, but yeah. Naz has won the ball back there, and while she will claim that came off Seike, the Lino disagrees. But Tottenham do win it back from the Brighton throw, and they look to play over the top now. Hayes with a good head away. Jermaine does well to win that ball, but it's Koga who comes away with it. Or Spencer who clears it away. And now Brighton will look to play down the left-hand side. Ollis Lagers lifts it in behind. Cut out well by Koga. And now into Spence. Back to Toko Koga. She's been a revelation this season, Toko Koga. Feel like I don't have the words anymore to describe how good she's been. I've said it so many times, but she's been excellent. Just every game I watch her play, she looks so mature, so comfortable both sides of the ball. And yeah, just been a complete game changer for Tottenham. Having someone in the centre of that defence, the heart of the defence, looks so comfortable in all phases of play. Great at transition. Great when they have the ball, playing out from the back. Great when they're defending. Just looks so solid. Here is Olivia Holt. Does well to hold the ball under pressure. Nilden. Back now to Hunt. Can she find a forward pass? Goes to the Nilden. Down the line into Holt. Spence. But yeah, Tottenham, the dominant force so far in this match. Brighton struggling really to get any sort of foothold in this game. And as the live table shows, Tottenham will move up to third with this win. Ahead of Manchester United, ahead of Arsenal. Brighton would remain sixth as it stands. Naturally, they can't be caught by anyone today, regardless of result. But yeah, really impressive start to the season from Tottenham. And a really impressive start to this game. Taylor says, has Tottenham ever finished higher than mid-table 5th or 4th in the WSL? Their best finish was under Robert Villaharm the season before last. Last season was abysmal. His first season was really good. They finished 6th, I want to say. I'm trying to remember. It might have been 7th. I think it was 6th. And yeah, they had a really strong season. Ball into the box. That's blocked by Spence. Out now for a Brighton corner. And they'll look to put Tottenham under pressure here. And this is an area where I think Tottenham do need to improve, is dealing with set pieces. They didn't do well in the City game at all. And yes, City are very good at corners, but still, they gave them too much respect. So they've got to become better at dealing with set pieces. Can Brighton take advantage of that weakness? Ball into the box. It bounces around fairly wildly. Can Brighton turn it goalwards? Big stop from Lisa Kopp. That is a great save to get across. And yeah, just bounce around. This is the problem for Tottenham. No one reacts. Everyone just seems to panic. No one reacts. And it's flicked. It's an overhead kick attempt from McLaughlin. That's saved well by Lisa Kopp. I just can't wait to watch Tottenham Barcelona next season. That would be amusing. Would probably be a cricket score. The thing is, I think with Tottenham, they've got Martin Ho now, who's a really exciting young coach. And if they can give him the investment and the backing over the next 5 years, there's no reason they can't be a side who, you know, compete with the big four. I mean, the men's side have got the finances to compete with those other teams. If they can invest in their women's team, I mean, United don't invest in their women's team and they're still strong. If Tottenham invested, gave serious investment, last summer was really positive. If they can, and that's why they've looked really good to start this season. Katinka Tamba, great signing. Lisa Kopp back in January, great addition to the side. Toko Koga, fantastic signing. If they can make more signings like that, where you bank on young players from leagues like Sweden, like Norway, where there is a lot of young talent, like the J League, then you know you'll have a really strong squad, and then pick players like Lisa Kopp up from the likes of Leicester. But yeah, they can make more signs like that. I mean, try and steal players like Jutta Rantala when their contracts expire. Then suddenly, I think you can see Tottenham in a really good position. But yeah, they just a lot of investment. They've got the coach now to make it work. McLaughlin. Rule pokes it through the lines into Seike. Flickon doesn't quite come off. I mean, you've seen Brighton the last few seasons, the way they've invested in the side. They've brought in Vidicic, who's been really strong. 3 minutes of additional time in this first half, by the way. They brought in Vidicic, who's a really impressive coach. And yeah, they've done well. Well, you'd say they're sort of they're the closest team probably to that big four. Taya says there's a better chance of London City finishing in the Champions League spots than Tottenham. I don't think there is. London City really aren't a good side. You can throw money at it, but ultimately the players just don't. Then it's not working. There's no functionality to it at the moment. I think how many times in football do we have to see? I mean, obviously, if you invest a lot of money in the right areas, you'll create a really good side. Here's Michel Aguimang, holds the ball up well. And that's well dealt with by Tottenham. Traditionally, wages has been fairly proportionate to finishing position across all leagues of football. So the more money and the better players, the more you're paying your players, the better they tend to perform because you've got better players that earn more money. Here are Brighton. Can they create an opportunity? Breaking into penalty area now. That's blocked away well. And it's Naz who tries to form a counter charge. It's out though for a Tottenham throw, knocked out of play by Maisie Simmons. Oliver says Liverpool looking a bit better if you ask me in that game so far. What, better than London City or better than they've looked this season? I think with Liverpool, when you look at the underlying numbers, they've actually been really unlucky. The Everton game they should have won, but Vignola scored a hat-trick from 0.3 XG. All of the shots that she scored were savable by... Faye Kirby was awful that day. But they've looked better with Borgraf. They weren't too bad against United last weekend, though admittedly the lino did help with that. Every time United came forwards in the second half, she had a flag up. But yeah, and the Leicester game as well, they conceded the one shot on target they faced. So I don't think things are as bad at Liverpool as they look. I think Taylor is a good manager, and with investment and time, they will do really well. I think at the moment, the teams I would be concerned about, Leicester have had a good start to the season, but eventually, I think Leicester will fall away unless they invest massively in January. I think Everton should be concerned at the moment. I really haven't been impressed with them this season. If they lose today to Leicester, that's a really tough result. I don't think Sorensen... I don't know. The investment's there. They've brought in players like Ruby Mace. You look at last summer, Kitagawa, Pacheco, Ishikawa, Ruby Mace, Vignola. There's so many exciting signings, but it just hasn't worked. So yeah. But that is half time here in Tottenham. Tottenham 1, Brighton 0. A fun first half of football. Tottenham have been far and away the better team though, and very much deserve their 1-goal lead. Katinka Tandberg with that goal. And at the break, they lead Tottenham 1, Brighton 0. Very enjoyable first 45. Taya says, is Kirby injured for Brighton? They miss her power. She runs the midfield. Yeah. She is injured, and that has been a huge problem for them in this game. There's just no one up there that is receiving the ball and making things happen. It's been their biggest problem. There's no one to link up with Michel Aguimang. So, yeah, that's been a problem. No Frank Kirby is hurting them a lot, I think, based on what I've watched in that first 45. Could try and make this work on the tablet while we talk about that first half. But, yeah, a first half where a lot happened. We saw, some really impressive football. I think Tottenham were much the better side. dominated possession in that first half. I'm going to get the stats up as well. Dominated possession in that first half, dominated the chances. It was 56% to 44% in terms of possession, 0.66 XG to 0.10, 4 shots to 2, 2 on target to none, and of course, one big chance was they tucked away. Brighton yet to create a big chance, but yeah, Tottenham have just looked the better side, both sides of the ball. They've been really strong defensively, made it really difficult for Aguilar to actually bring the ball down and then look to play. They've made it really difficult for Brighton to handle them in attacking areas with the way they've moved the ball forwards and the fluidity and across that front line. And yeah, it's just been an all-round really impressive display from Tottenham, and it's keeping up what's been a really good start to this season. And yeah, been really impressed with how they've begun the campaign. They've played some nice football, and they've looked sharp, and they're very much deserving of the lead in this first half. Katzenellen says, Villa is deliberately stringing me along. I haven't had a look at any other games, but no goals in the first half of the WSL speaks volumes about how tight these fixtures are. It just seems like yellow cards across some of the games. Gaiora's picked up a yellow as well. I know a lot of people have got her in aerial fantasy. As Oliver says, I like how well matched the games are today. Yeah, there are a lot of good matchups. I think naturally, when the big sides play each other, it means you're going to have a lot of those sides that are near each other in the table facing off. But, you know, we could have had like Brighton playing Everton or something, where you would, or, you know, Brighton playing West Ham, where Brighton would be the clear favourites. But instead, you've got matchups across the league of teams really close together, where you've got Brighton, who came into this game in 6th against Tottenham, who came in 4th. And then you've got Everton, Leicester, 7th, 8th. You've got London City, Liverpool, 9th and 11th. And you've got Aston Villa, West Ham, 10th and 12th. So these games are the most important ones, because this is where the biggest difference in the table is made. You know, if Villa win today, they could shoot up to 7th. If results stay the same, if Everton, Leicester draw, and London City, Liverpool draw, Villa could be as high as 7th today, where suddenly I think the table would look a lot more representative. I don't think we will see every game end in a draw, apart from Tottenham and Tottenham, Brighton and Aston Villa, but potentially it could. And yeah, as I say, that would then put Aston Villa in a much stronger position. So these are really important fixtures. Likewise, if Leicester win today and they put themselves up onto 6 points, then they're in a really decent position. Alex says Everton Leicester was not a good watch, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't think it would be. To be fair, I think two sides who have been really poor to start this season, and yeah, haven't had a particularly impressive. I mean, like, we've seen Everton get results, we've seen Leicester get results, but they haven't played particularly well either side. So yeah, I don't think I'm too surprised to hear that. But yeah, it's been interesting. Alex says, how will your UWSL coverage look like next week? We are doing, I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, I'm going to have to look at the games. We're doing Juventus Benfica on Tuesday at 6:45, and then we'll be doing Arsenal Lyon at 8 o'clock. And then on Wednesday, we'll be doing FC Twente versus Chelsea at 6:45, and then Manchester United, VfL Wolfsburg against Paris Saint-Germain at 8 o'clock. So most days we'll be looking to do the 5:45 game and then the 8 o'clock game. So we should have double ups for all of the Champions League games this season, so look out for those. But yeah, it should be fun, it should be enjoyable. I'm looking forward to the Champions League being back, but we've still got a lot of WSL action to look forward to in across another 45 minutes. Says Everton have struggled this season, look really poor. Absolutely, I'm not sure what's going wrong there. I think the way they're trying to play football just isn't working at the moment. They're trying to build out from the back, and I just don't know if they've got the players. Brosnan isn't particularly good with the ball at her feet. Neither of the centre-halves are comfortable. The full-back decisions this season have been really weird. Like the Liverpool game where they had Katie Robinson at right back and Pacheco at left back. That's two full-backs who want to get forwards, but they had Robinson sitting deeper. It doesn't make any sense to me. And they look much better with Holmgard. I don't know who's playing today for Everton. It's apparently Wheeler at right back. I very much doubt that. I think it's Holmgard at right back. Robinson on the right wing. Hayashi in the 10th. They just seem to lack a lot of players in really weird positions. Like Vignola's a left winger. She's played up front all season. Kelly Gargo's a striker. She's played in attacking midfielder on the right wing when she's played. Katja Snice is a striker who I think is better in the 10 or on the bench. And yet she's played a bit. in various positions like right wing. It's just, there's been so many odd decisions. I think it's been weird how little we've seen of Tony Payne. Mace is a very good player, and they're playing in her position, so that works. But yeah, there's so much of the system is just so dysfunctional. Like, Martina Fernandez should be really comfortable on the ball, but she didn't look it in the opening few games of this season. But yeah, very interesting, just bizarre stuff. Alex says Bayern Barca will be great. When is that game? Oh, that's Tuesday as well, isn't it? Yeah, terrible scheduling, by the way, from whoever's doing the Champions League scheduling. I don't know. UEFA, I assume. But yeah, why is Bayern Barca and Arsenal Lyon on the same night? So poor. I want to watch them both. I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, we are going to stream Arsenal Lyon because I imagine more Arsenal fans will watch that. So from a business sense, that will probably be the better stream. I think Barca Bayern may be the better game. So we'll keep tabs on both. I mean, obviously we'll keep tabs on all Champions League games as we're live for them. But yeah, it's a shame. I think they're both great games and they're on at the same time. And then Juventus Benfica, which I think will be a bit of a rogue one. I'm not sure how good that game is going to be, but I think two sides could be quite evenly matched, which might make for a really interesting game. So looking forward to that one as well. And looking forward to all the Champions League games. Looking forward to all the games we stream. Really, they're all fun. I love watching football. Katsunan says, can Villa mount genuine dissent unless Chelsea Grant is willing to be ruthless? Why Chelsea Grant got to be ruthless? What? I don't understand your question. Sorry, Katsunan. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the Villa lineup. They've gone back to what worked with Hansen and Salmon. I'm not sure why they haven't played well. To be honest, I expect them to look good. I mean, West Ham haven't had a shot on target yet. They are just so poor in every moment, every phase of the game at the moment. West Ham, defensively, they looked awry. In the game today, they haven't had much of the ball. But when they have had the ball, they've been able to get forwards well, which attacking transition finally working a bit better. But when they get into the penalty area, they've had 5 shots and haven't put a single one on target. So wasteful once again from West Ham. London City and Liverpool, a half where neither side has done anything. That I'm glad we're not watching that. That was the other option today. I thought Tottenham Brighton would be a much better game than that, and it has been so far. It's been very interesting. Tottenham have looked really good, much better than I expected them to look. I thought Brighton would make this really difficult for Tottenham today. Despite their strong start to the season, I thought this could be difficult for Tottenham, but they have looked really good today. They've been strong defensively. They've been able to come forwards well. I think their attack, the fluidity in their attack is so impressive. And it's what led to the goal. Nas was able to come down the right-hand side, link up with Olivia Holt. She drifted into a slightly different position, but linked up well. Lovely wide combination between her and Holt. She burst down the line in that half space. She got the ball across first time, and I really like that because just as of old, stops that ball, tries to go inside out, waits on the ball, nothing comes of it. But this was smart and intelligent play from Jess Naz, where she understands what's happening. She understands the situation. She can see the player coming across to deal with it, and she just fizzes the ball across the box first time and just hopes there's someone in there. And it's a really good ball because she puts it in that corridor of uncertainty where you've got a gap, obviously, between the defensive line and the goalkeeper, and no one knows whether to commit for it. Because, of course, Katinka Tamba is going to commit for it. And she slides in and she finishes it off. But yeah, it was a really well-worked move from Tottenham. I think Jess Naz coming into her own a little bit more this season, which is good to see. I think there's a player where the raw ability is clearly there. It's abundant, but perhaps the confidence and the mental side of the game isn't. But I think she's looked really good today. She seems to have a bit more belief, so that has been good to say. Alex says, Jack, just watched Everton game. Are Spurs this good to get into the top 4 this season? I don't see anyone breaking the top 4, to be honest. I think for me, it'll be some concoction of Chelsea, City, United, Arsenal. Unless Arsenal have a huge drop-off. But I think everyone's greatly exaggerating how poor Arsenal have been. It's weird because in the first 2 weeks, the media and everyone was like, Arsenal are incredible. They're going to win it all because they've smashed 2 teams that they should smash comfortably and they've looked really good. And I said on the podcast, and I said on the live streams, I've not been impressed with Arsenal in the first 2 weeks. And then they've then had 3 games where they haven't won any of them, and they have looked poor. But all of the first 5 games of the season, Arsenal have been at the same level. they just haven't, they were able to beat pretty poor teams in West Ham and London City, and then they play teams of higher difficulty and they didn't win those games. So my opinion hasn't really changed. I don't think that they are very impressive, but I don't think they're as bad as people are now making out. So it's one of those. I don't know. I'm always against what the media thinks, apparently. But I think they're just very middle of the road. I don't think they're going to win anything this season, but I don't think it's going to be disastrous. I think they'll probably be fourth just because United and City look really good and City don't have any Champions League football to contend with. But both those sides have problems if they get any injuries. City have already got loads of injuries, but they're still playing well, and they still beat Arsenal yesterday, despite the fact that they didn't have a natural left winger. And they don't have a natural fit left winger, so they had a huge problem there, and they still made it work, while Arsenal had a full complement. So that is not good for Arsenal. not a good reflection at all. So I think they'll be fine. The problem for United could be depth. But yeah, so I think for me, at the moment, top three would be Chelsea, City, United. I don't have any problems. I don't have any concerns though that Arsenal would finish lower than fourth at the moment. But equally, if they're sat in fourth and they can't get Champions League, they may just give up on the league, because the difference between fourth and sixth is nothing, or fourth and fifth. So we could see someone break into the top four in that situation, but I don't think it'll get that bad. I think they'll probably be just on the cusp of getting into Champions League qualification, but I don't think they'll quite manage it. Then I think if anyone was going to get top four, it'll probably be Brighton. I think they are a really good side, but then Tottenham have outplayed them today. So maybe my opinion should change. I don't know, but I've been really impressed with Tottenham. I think they are a really good side. I don't want to go too early and say that they're going to get top four or anything, because I think they've played some really nice games to start this season. I want to see them tested against top opponents. I think in the next few, you look at when they played City and they lost 5-1. So I still have some doubts. I think very valid doubts for those reasons. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they go throughout this season. If they can shore up a little more against those top teams and continue to decimate the weaker sides like they have, I think they'll be in a really good position. Even if they get tanked by all of the top four, but they win every other game, they'll be fine, won't they? I just don't see that happening. I think eventually they'll drop some points. But yeah, they have been really impressive. If they take 12 points from 5 games, it's a beautiful start to the season. The only game they've lost is City, which no one expected them to win. So can't really ask a lot more than Tottenham. I think, how many points did they get last season? Possibly they'll be very close to beating their total from last year already. Or, they deserved about 3 points last season. They were awful. They finished on 20. So if they win today, Tottenham, they'll be 8 points off their total tally from last season in less than a quarter of the fixtures. Martin Ho's done an incredible job. That's what we can say on that. But yeah, I don't see anyone breaking into that big four. I think you need a lot more investment and time. Tottenham could do it, I think, in the next few seasons if they can continue to invest in the way they have. Because I think the way that they have been investing, I think Martin Ho is probably a better coach than Vidicic, it's close, but I think the problem with Vidicic's football is that it's a little bit too, I can't think of the word now, like perfectionist, but I can't think of the exact word I'm trying to find. But I think you have to be so perfect to play Vidicic's football that often mistakes do come and you can sort of pull the structures apart a bit too easily. Whereas I think with Tottenham, what they've got that's really nice is that they've got a bit of flexibility and adaptability in their system. So when they're playing weaker sides, they do tend to play out from the back more. But when they're like today, they haven't really played out too much from the goalkeeper. What they've done really well is the goalkeeper's taking the kicks long, and then they're looking to win second balls and then dictate the possession there. So rather than them, if they do turn it over, they turn it over in the opposition half rather than turning over in their own half, and then they're opened up. Anyway, we're about to get away for the second half, and I absolutely wasn't ready for that, but it will be Brighton to get us back underway. Mission Lakebank from the middle, knocks it back, and we're back underway in this game. Tottenham leading by a goal to nil coming into this second 45. Can Brighton turn it around, or can Tottenham see out a fourth win of the season? We're going to find out in the next 45 minutes, and it's Brighton coming forwards now. But yeah, I mean, Tottenham have only conceded 1 goal to teams that aren't called Man City so far this season as well. So defensively, they look so good. I think definitely helps. Brighton have always been a very good attacking team, but defensively, they've always been a little bit suspect. They've improved defensively this season, but that has come at a little bit of a cost to their attacking football, because I don't think they've threatened Tottenham at all today. So, yeah, Stab says, I've been watching Trinity Rodman's highlights on YouTube. I'm intrigued. Have you ever watched an NWSL game, and can you say how good they are compared to the European Women's Leagues? I have watched a few NWSL games. My takeaway, though I'm not massively informed, is that it's not as tactically complex as a lot of the European leagues. Much more about physical prowess. Here comes Jess Naz down the right-hand side. Like, if you're strong and fast, you'll do well in the NWSL, I feel, regardless of what the team setup is. Whereas I think, especially the WSL now, is becoming so complex tactically. I think it is. I think it's more difficult. And Tottenham there with the throw into the penalty area. Cross is then blocked out for a Tottenham corner, and they can look to threaten from this. I think corners is the one area as well where I think Tottenham are let down, both attacking and defending them. I think that defending set pieces is a huge weakness for them, and they don't really do anything with attacking set pieces. But yeah, we'll see if they can change that. I mean, they're focused on the structure and how they'll become a better football team. Once that's starting to bed in now, once that's bed in properly, then you focus on niche things like set pieces. But yeah, Enadozi does really well. Ball in towards the front post. Enadozi punches it away, but she has clattered the post in that attempt to get the ball away. It's out for another Tottenham corner. Enadozi is just nursing her hands there. Does seem to be fine, and Tottenham will now put another ball into the box. Needs to be a better delivery, really. And Tottenham players moving in the penalty area. Ball in again towards the near post. Nagyman gets it clear. Yeah, just not putting enough on those crosses. Ball put back in, though. Could they win the second ball? That's unfortunate. Header down. That probably needs to be headed down to a teammate, but it's headed down to the hands of Enadozi. Alex says, City can avoid injuries no due to CL football, and their coach seems very good. Yeah, but the problem for City is they're still recovering from Taylor, and the problem that Taylor had was that because he never rests anyone. So in the first half of the season, we saw Hemp get injured. Then Kerolin came in, and because Hemp was already injured, and then Fagino got injured, and then Kerolin ended up playing every game, and then Kerolin got injured. So at the moment, what City have is that when a winger comes back from injury, there's no time to sort of bed them in slowly, because they need to come back and immediately start because all the other wingers are injured. And what City needed was a summer without the Euros, really, because they had the Euros and the Copa Femenina, and they've come back with Kerolin injured, Hemp injured, Fagino's started the season injured, is now back from injury. But yeah, they've got players that should have been fine and played throughout the summer. They've come back and immediately got injured in the start of this season, and now they're back in the same situation. I mean, even Lily Murphy, who, young winger, who's, your third choice, really, third, fourth choice, injured. So they just have a constant injury problem at the moment with their wide players. But Fagino seems to be okay now. Hopefully she can stay fit. Iman Bene looks really good. That was a well-taken goal yesterday. Here come Brighton looking to beat Tottenham. Looking to try and break through Tottenham's lines. That was too assertive from Toko Koga on Adjame. And that will be a Brighton free kick. But yeah, Brighton need to get on the ball a bit more, dictate this game a little more, and push Tottenham back. At the moment, it's just too open. We have finally got a goal somewhere else in the league. It's Leicester 0, Everton 1. Thank you, Bailey and Ryzen, for that update. Vignola with the goal. And that's how to play for a Tottenham throw. She's so heavily owned now on Aerial Fantasy because everyone just bought her after she scored a hat-trick. She's done nothing for a few weeks, and now, of course, everyone has been rewarded. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't buy it. I'm glad I didn't rush into buying a player that massively overperformed her data, but she has now scored against another weak team. So that is Everton 1, Leicester 0. Or Leicester 0, Everton 1. Leicester are at home there. So finally another goal in one of the WSL fixtures. Here come Brighton. Good challenge in there from Nash Neville, and now Tottenham can come forwards. Danberg tries to poke that through to England. One back though by Brighton, and it's Hayes in possession. Pass out to the right hand side, headed down by Nilden. And it's Caitlin Hayes again. Brighton switching from right to left. Rule into the wide player, Olis Lagers. He's really being dragged back there by Nas. And now Rule. Back to Simmons. Here is Hayes. Now Simmons. Back to our goalkeeper, Nadozi. Who gives it to Hayes. Under pressure and goes back to our goalkeeper. And Nadozi through the lines. And now Kankovic looks to switch the play. This is much better from Brighton. There's a foul there though from Koga on Kankovic. And I think Toko Koga will be booked for that. So it's just one in the aftermath there. I think it's an odd one to give because Brighton were away on the right-hand side with an overload. And they just pulled it back for what is a fairly innocuous follow-through. That isn't... I don't know. I need to see a better replay. That's a horrible angle, but it didn't look like a yellow card to me. Koga's made a clear attempt for the ball. I think Kankovic just made the most of that. But yeah. Anyway. Receives treatment and is fine. I was Mason Simmons, sorry, not Kankovic. Anyway, Brighton with the free kick. And now Brighton coming forwards. Simmons tries to find that forward pass. Cut out there by Spence, who ends up losing possession under pressure from Adjumang. But that is deemed a foul. Phil says, I think Flint would be the perfect fit for Arsenal's midfield. I have to say I'm not familiar with Flint. I know you've mentioned her a lot, Phil. As I said, I don't watch loads of NWSL. But yeah. I've watched a few games. Not much this season though, to be fair. We did think about streaming it over the summer, but decided to actually have a month off of constantly streaming. Anyway, Brighton now building out from the back. Hayes. Now Enadozi. Into Simmons, back to Enadozi. And out wide now to Rule, who will dart inside well and beats Nas. And that is a pass into a dangerous area picked off by Nilden. And Tottenham can use this now. Holt was driving towards goal. It's been given as a foul. The referee's really late to react to anything, really. Because here, Nilden gets fouled, immediately gives that as a foul because everyone stopped playing. But he doesn't. Instead, he lets Holt get the ball and then drive forwards, and then he goes, oh, well, that should be a foul. It's so odd. Because at that point, then leave it and let Holt drive on and play advantage. But there we go. FOA says, Kitty Gar W. I'm guessing she's scored. Or she's won. Not sure. I haven't had a notification about another goal though. No, Kitagawa was off. Not sent off, subbed off. Well, that is poor if anyone's got Hikaru Kitagawa, because 55 minutes means you won't get the clean sheet points. Evelina Summonen over this then, might try and hit the target. Does hit the target. That's a really good save for Nadozi. England reacts quickest. Now to Naz. Ball back in the box. Headed away well. And out for a throw. But that was not a bad strike from Evelina Summonen. Seemed to just squeeze it through the wall there. And then Nadozi, blindsided, but pulls off a fantastic stop. Gets across her goal well. And uses her full frame to push it wide. England reacts, now tries to put the ball back in the box, but Brighton head it away well, and now Tottenham have a corner. And we'll look to put more pressure on this. Not a corner, sorry, throw. And out of play. That's a poor throw in that's already nothing apart from a Brighton throw. Picked off though as they try and play out quickly. Here is Spence, pokes it to England in the penalty area. Beth England fires to the front post, saved by Shimake and Inadozie. Really good save. Again, this is well won high at the pitch by Tottenham. And yeah, Chimaka and Inadozie with a really good stop, denying Beth England at point blank range. Actually, as Jack Wise-Gomer always injured, she should bench Millie. Because what we do whenever Gomer gets back to fitness is just immediately play her, and then she gets injured. She just needs to be, gently bedded in, like Lauren James. Brighton here coming forwards, breaking into Tottenham's penalty area. Kjankovic, now Ollis Lagers, Simmons. Chance now on the edge. McLaughlin, Seike pokes it forwards. That's one pass too many, and a really poor pass at that. Into the hands of the grateful Lisa Kopp. But yeah, not a bad start to the second half for either side. It's been much more even this half than we saw. Brighton have come forwards a lot more effectively and had a lot more possession. Tottenham, though, still threatening when they can get on the ball. And Brighton just lacking that final ball. They've not created great chances, eh? Brighton turn it over high at the pitch. Seike, Simmons. Back out wide to Seike. Ball into the box. Cleared away by Spence. They can't find Ajimang at all. Seike. High at the pitch again. McLaughlin. Wide to Seike. Got across. And it's blocked well by Nildum. If I've got Michelle Ajimang in the box, what I would do is cross it onto her head. Because Tottenham aerially have always been a bit poor and they don't have much height in there. So I try and pick her out in the air. They have now got a corner, Brighton. And we saw in the City game, Khadija George won every aerial. Brighton now with this corner. Ball into the box. And that is over everyone. Kept it alive well, though, by Caitlin Hayes, the back post. Blocked better by Katinka Tandberg. And it's another corner, I believe, for Tottenham. Didn't see where that spilled off. I think, actually, it's a throw-in. Because Caitlin Hayes is running back to the halfway line. Anyway, Brighton now with a throw-in. And it's Ollis Lagers. That was definitely a foul throw. Cleared away by Tottenham, though, and out for another throw-in. Not sure why we've seen so many foul throws this season. Not sure why none of them are being punished. It's a weird epidemic, which I just don't get. I don't remember seeing so many foul throws last season. But it's one of those where if they started punishing it, players would be more careful about throws. But it doesn't get punished, so they're not. Brighton going forwards now. Ajimang. Back in to Ollis Lagers down the line. But she's in offside position. That's poor. Got to time the run better in there. Marissa Ollis Lagers. And that is offside, the Tottenham free kick. But yeah, I haven't seen Rosa Kafaji today. Just hasn't been involved with Brighton. Really. And Lisa Kopp now. Launches it forwards. Tampe tries to win the header. Naz now is brought down, and that will be a Brighton throw. Or Spence, sorry, brought down. Rule. Back now to Inadozie. Lifting it forwards. Nildon tries to catch it out. Here's Simmons. Now Seike. Back to Simmons. Now Rule. Lovely pass from Kafaji into Ollis Lagers. Back inside. It's Kjankovic. Simmons can't quite keep it alive. Kankovic again. Now Hayes. Out to the right-hand side. McLaughlin holds the width. Pass down the line. Here is Kiko Seike. Can put this into the area now. Nilden sees her off. It's a pass into Nordam in the box. And that is a good challenge in there from the recovering Olivia Holt, who's also managed to win Tottenham the goal kick as well. See a replay of that one. Yeah, that did come off. Did come off Nordam. Phil says, I think that's Kafaji's issue. She's a game changer, but a general play is the equivalent to playing with 10. Yeah, I don't think she's busy enough as a player. I don't think she gets enough touch on the ball. There's some tidy stuff in there, and clearly a player with a lot of ability. But I just don't think she gets involved enough. Spence. Out wide now to Ash Neville down the line into Naz, who has the beating there of Olis Lagers and is pushed down. And I'm not sure what they've given here. Corner. No, goal kick. How on earth have they come to that decision? That is quite a blatant foul from Rule. No way to the ball. How on earth is that not been given as a free kick? Who knows? But there we go. Brighton playing out from the back. Rule. Under pressure from Naz. Back to Anadozi, who manages to clear it away to Olis Lagers. Brighton now coming down the left-hand side. And we've got a goal in West Ham, Aston Villa. It's West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1. Ball down the line, and now Brighton are in behind. But again, it's poorly timed by Rosa Kafaji, who has scored that goal for Aston Villa. Hoping it's Ebony Salmon, for the sake of aerial fantasy. If anyone knows, let me know. It is Kirsty Hansen who's got the goal. Of course. I should have brought in Kirsty Hansen and captained her instead. Anyway, Brighton with a good win in there, and now they look to come forwards. Simmons onto Kankovic. Tries to play it in behind towards Seike. A little bit of a misunderstanding there between Hunt and Cott, but Hunt does win it. Bailey says shot and start the second half West Ham. Well, that's the other problem with West Ham this season, is second halves. They've not even come out of the dressing room. I mean, the Arsenal one, last 10 minutes, Ryan Skinner just lost a plot, particularly. Like they were, it was a comfortable 3-1 win for Arsenal at that stage. And then Skinner just goes, yeah, let's go 5 up front. That's probably the smartest thing to do now. And so we just watched Arsenal play just play through West Ham like they weren't there, and then score 2 more goals. Oliver says, I've doubled Villa defence, offensively because of visionary points. Love that. I've got a terrible team. My problem is now, I don't want a clean slate this week because there's an international break in the week after. So I'm just going to make do next week with whatever my team looks like. It can't be that bad, I hope. Make do, and then I've got 3 Tottenham players and they play Chelsea. So no idea what I'm going to do there. Great switch to the play. Here come Brighton. They've made the pitch wide. Seike cuts inside. Is that a penalty from Nilden? It drops for Kankovic. It's save. It's blocked. No penalty given. I want to see a replay there. Tamberg knocks it out of play. And that is a Brighton throw-in. Are we going to get a replay? We are. Seike receives the ball. Shimmies inside. That's not a pen. I don't think there's any contact there. That is a great dive from Kiko Seike. Don't think there's any contact. I mean, we didn't get to see a slower replay, but it didn't look like there's any contact there. It looks like Seike tried to buy it. Change now for Tottenham. That's going to be Matilda Wimberg on. Haven't seen enough of her yet this season because of her injuries, but it's Olivia Holt who will make way, another player who has also struggled with injuries at the start of this season. And so Holt makes way for Matilda Wimberg, who is a visionary, by the way. Remember that. That's why I keep having her, despite the fact she is not playing at the moment. She is a visionary in aerial fantasy. Catson says, seems I can finally sleep easy tonight. Well, exactly, and this is the thing for Villa now. Suddenly, they're on 5 points. They are mid-table, and everything looks fine. And this is exactly what the point I've been making. Ajime will be forced back. Alex says, how do you rate Tamberg after her first WSL game so far? Looks tidy. Really composed finisher. Yeah, looks good. I've been impressed. Catson says, is this international window scheduled for the men's national teams as well? No, so it's slightly different. The international break for the men's is this week now. So after today, that's the end of the men's leagues. They have 1 weekend then of international games, and then there's nothing. The WSL has next week is WSL fixtures. The week after is League Cup fixtures. There's no aerial fantasy. That means nothing for aerial fantasy. And then there's an international break. So we've got 2 weeks no WSL, which will be rough. But we'll make do. Try and come up with loads of video ideas. So if you've got anything you want us to talk about in general, suggest it. Because we'll having to come up with a video. I just have no new games, but yeah, we do have a 2-week break. There's a League Cup weekend where there's, for some reason, League Cup fixtures on a weekend, and then the weekend after that is the internationals. So yeah, we're going to try and get some grassroots women's football, hopefully. Some of the local games, because they're still on, of course. It's Simmons over there, strikes it well, but Lisa Kopp claims it well. No problem with that for Kopp. So that's what I'd encourage everyone to do. If you're missing the WSL, next weekend, but the 2 weeks after that, missing the WSL, go and watch some local football. That's my suggestion. Here's Lisa Kopp. Pacheco on a yellow card as well, says FPL Bailey. Thank you for the update. Koga back now to Kopp. Pass inside to Spence. Here is Evelina Summanen. Nilden down the line into Wimberg. I love that she tucks her shirt in as well. Any player who tucks their shirt in, I immediately respect. Ajimang. It's classy, isn't it? I mean, I'd never do it personally. I understand why players don't do it. But players that do it, respect. Wimberg. Tamberg. Back down the line for Matilda Wimberg. If she can keep it in touch, she'll look to take on McLaughlin now. Trying to beat her. McLaughlin knocks it out of play. Not sure how she's claimed that's a Brighton throw. Not sure the referee agrees with her. But there we go. Brighton throwing. Rule. Pass into Nordam. Now Summanen. Back to Spence. Naz. Now Koga. Hunt. Across to Koga. Lovely pass into England in the pocket. Now it's Naz. Back to Neville. England's good control in there. Plays it into Naz, who makes the run. And that is out, though, for a Brighton goal kick. And a second goal in the game between West Ham and Aston Villa. It's West Ham 0, Aston Villa 2. And West Ham, again, they concede and the floodgates open. It's Lynn Vilms with a free kick. A goal and assist for Vilms today. If you've got her in aerial fantasy, you are killing it. Goal, assist, and a clean sheet. Emily Sam was fouled for it, so I'm hoping aerial fantasy will give her an assist. But yeah, Villa leading by 2-0. Brighton coming forwards. Pass now to the left-hand side. And it's cut out there by Spence. And now she looks to drive away with the ball. Still Brighton alive now, and that's just wide of the far post by Rosa Kafaji. Her first involvement, really, in today's game. Unable, though, to find the target with that effort, as it just bounces wide. Trickles wide more than bounces, to be fair. Felice, I've never heard that version of Barn Door with a banjo, but instead of going for Cow's Arse, but there we go. Flicked on well, now chance for Matilda Wimberg, and it's cleared away. Here comes Tottenham, though. Brighton have really struggled to get the foot on the ball. Tambo takes aim from range. She can't get enough lift on it, though. And then Adozi No problem collecting that one. Nigel, welcome to the streams. Just haven't been more satisfied than beating Arsenal yesterday. Hopefully those Champions League pitches can be used as an equaliser for their sake. I did enjoy Chloe Kelly's reaction. I'm sure we'll talk about that on the weekend roundup. Remember, that is out tomorrow rather than Tuesday. So for those of you who enjoy watching our weekly weekend roundup, that will be out a day earlier to account, of course, for the Champions League fixtures. And Kafaji there. It's gone too soon and is offside again. That's been our biggest problem today as well, staying onside. So I think that's the third time now it's just been off. And it's Tottenham now with more changes, and it's going to be Olga Artinen on for Tottenham. And that is the end of the game for number 19. And that is Katinka Tamberg. So presumably that is England up front, Arsenal in the 10 then. And Martha Thomas coming off as well. So that's Martha Thomas up front, I reckon. I hope. Martin Ho hasn't fallen into the trap that... Drew Spencer coming off as well. So it'll be Arsenal into defence midfield, Martha Thomas up front. Thank Christ for that. Martin Ho hasn't fallen into the Villaham trap of playing Martha Thomas everywhere other than up front. But yeah. Nigel, not the biggest fan of Chloe Kelly. Changes as well for Brighton. That, I did not see who that was. But we will work it out. Two changes. Nordam off. Melis Mpome on. So I assume that isn't like for like. So I imagine the other change was a midfielder coming off for... No, a defender coming off for a midfielder. Or system change, who knows. Carlo Camacho on for Nadim Nordam. And then, so Camacho onto the field, presumably playing as an attacking player. And then I think it was Caitlin Hayes who came off for Mpome, which makes sense, she is on a yellow. So yeah, there we go. Brighton change centre-back and bring on a change in attack. So Tottenham now with this free kick. Alex says, Jack should do a 10-minute video about Kelly's behaviour. I'm not sure I've got 10 minutes of material. Nildon over this. I'll think about it. Looks to put the ball into the penalty area, flicked on. And now Brighton looking to come forwards, but Tottenham win it back. Head away in there by Hayes. She hasn't come off injured. She hasn't come off because she's on a yellow. I think it's Rule that's come off. Naz looks to dart inside. Forced back now. Simonum goes further back. Looped ball forwards, looking for Thomas. Drops in midfield now. Adjemang. And it's headed away. And now it's Brighton coming forwards. Options either side. Seike breaks into the box. Takes aim. Blocked excellently by Toko Koga. Once again stepping up as the best defender really in that Tottenham backline. Huge moment. That's a great challenge. Blocking the shot of Kiko Seike. Throw high the pitch now for Brighton. Can they work an opportunity from this? And that's cleared away by Nildon. It hits, though, a Tottenham player in there. I think that was Olga Artinen. And bounces out for a Brighton corner. Can they make something happen from this now, Brighton? Oh, they'll look to flood the box. And again, I've spoken about how Tottenham haven't been great at corners. This is an area that Brighton could really capitalise or punish that weakness. Ball floated in there. It will be cleared away well, though. And Tottenham now looking to break. Jess Naz getting the wrong side of Camacho. Camacho gets back in well, though. And knocks it back to Seike. Now Kankovic. Flick on in there from Hayes. Hasn't worked. And Koga will drive the ball out of the defence. Great drive from Toko Koga here. Still going forwards. Love that from Koga. Passes now across to Artanen. That'll let her get back into shape. Just a quarter of an hour left in these matches. Still 0-0 between London City and Liverpool. Shot from range there from England that goes nowhere. Still Tottenham leading by a goal to 0 here. But it's still poised for what should be a very interesting last 15 minutes. Aston Villa in control against West Ham. And Everton at the moment just edging that game against Leicester City. Phil says London City Lionesses finish has been woeful today. So Liverpool are trying to help them out, but they still can't get anywhere. Brilliant. Alex says, imagine Serena doesn't select her because of her shithousery. Well, Chloe Kelly. I can't see any way she doesn't make the England squad because James is out and Hemp is out. But, yeah. That will be announced this week. Or, no, potentially the week after. It's usually the week before, obviously, the international break. So it'll probably be just after the League Cup weekend. But it'll be interesting who's picked. I'm hoping we see Blinker Brown. Hope she gets an opportunity. She's been excellent. I don't think any other rogue ones. Obviously, all the normal players. Just trying to think of anyone that would be deserving of a shout. Katie Reid has to be in the England squad for me because you've got no Williamson, and so you've got to replace her with someone. And I think Katie Reid deserves the chance. England from range over the bar. I hope Reid is taken and played because these are fairly meaningless internationals. We do not need to see Millie Bright, Alex Greenwood, all these players playing every game. Alex's Blinker was very good this season. She's been excellent. I hope she starts for England over Walsh. Not because I don't think Walsh is the better player, but because Walsh doesn't need to play a pointless friendly against Brazil. And if I see drops in there for Tottenham who turn the ball over. If I see Lauren James anywhere near the England squad, I will riot because somehow Serena will get her magically better to play the England games and then injure her again, and then she'll be out until the new year. Tottenham turn over high at the pitch. Can they make something of this? England, Naz, tidy footwork, back to Beth England. Tambo tries to poke that ball forwards, can't. David Fraser Letitia sort of miss out without Bright and Williamson. Why is Bright not there? Has she retired from international football yet? But yeah. Hunt. Now Koga. But yeah, I Letitia should start for England against Brazil and the other friendly. I can't even remember who that is against. Is it China? Or is that the next international break? I can't remember. I don't know why we're playing Brazil either when we've got to play them again in March in the Finalissima. But there we go. Well, so did I miss something or is it about the badge bumping? Well, there was 2 badge bumps, weren't there, from Kelly. There was one when she scored and then one when she fouled Uahabi. That one was really weird. I don't mind the one when she scored, whatever, but yeah, I thought the one where she fouled Uahabi was really weird. And then obviously she replied on Twitter to a Man City account, which I don't hate it, but it's just like she's obviously gone and searched her own name on Twitter looking for beef. Chance now for Tottenham, floated into the box. It bounced around and Koga almost poked it home there for Tottenham. But now at Brighton will look to transition quickly. Camacho does then slow it down and goes back to Hayes and Nadozi. Now Umpome. Does well there to beat Naz. Seike. Olislager's under pressure. Goes back to Enadozi. Goes onto the ball well. Then gives it forwards to Simmons. Out wide to the right hand side. Here is Hayes. Holding on to possession. Nice give and go in midfield. Simmons now out to the right hand side with Seike. Adjamang brought down. Still though, Brighton come forwards. Camacho takes aim, and that's wide of the mark. That was either going to be a wonder strike or a wild effort, and it turned out to be the latter. And Brighton with a chance that goes begging. Everton concede. Leicester 1, Everton 1. Oh dear, Everton. And that would be a very big result for Leicester if they can get a draw there as well. An equaliser in that game. And it's Leicester City 1, Everton 1 with 10 minutes left. I mean, the big winners there, Aston Villa, who jump up to 7th. Noe Mouchon finally is back fit for Leicester and finally scores. Is there any surprise? I think that's her first WSL goal, because this is her first WSL appearance this season, and she played just 3 games last season and only made only 230 minutes. Finally, Noe Mouchon is back. Leicester are going to win it all. They've got Rantala, they've got Mouchon. They're going to win the league. First of all, I thought maybe she kicked a cat into a wheelie bin on our way home or something. She may have. We can't be sure. Kafaji holds onto the ball well. Tries to poke her through the lines. One back in there by Tamberg. Summerlin, Naz. Neville tries to clear it forwards. Hits Jets Naz in the back. It is then launched forward. And there's an offside in there on Martha Thomas. They have definitely lost their attacking edge with Tamberg off the pitch. That Thomas England front line doesn't... I don't understand why Tottenham renewed the contract with Martha Thomas. Like, how can a player score... How can a striker score 0 goals in a season and you renew her contract? I just don't get it. I'd rather see Lena Gunning-Williams given opportunities than Martha Thomas come on and play 15 minutes where she hasn't really had an impact. Naz tries to play it through the lines there. One back by Brighton. Adjamang. No, Ipswich are beating Norwich 3-1 as well. Awful stuff. Ball back now to Enadozie. Here's Mpome. Ball forwards, cut out though by Artinen. Drops now for Seike. Here's Kafaji. Pokes a pass forward into Kankovic. Ball out now to the left-hand side. Olis Lagers. Mpome overlaps her. Now finds Mpome with a pass. Blocked well by Neville, who sees it out for a Tottenham goal kick. So, a little over 5 minutes to play in this game. And across all the games. It's Geddes says beats me. Nick Katzman says 0 in all comps. Not sure if it's all comps. Definitely in the league, though. Didn't score a single WSL goal last season. And yet, her contract was renewed. Don't get it, personally. But there we go. Ball forward from Lisa Kopp. But that's the thing that Tottenham are missing, obviously, is that next level of investment. Some was really positive. Tamberg was a great addition. As I say, Koga's a great addition. Kopp back in January, great addition. Did anyone else in the summer? Don't think so. I think that was it. Which after last season was a bit concerning. But yeah. The thing is, I think a lot of people were worried about Tottenham coming into the season because they didn't make many signings. Forgetting that a lot of the players last season weren't terrible footballers. It just didn't work really at all. And nothing worked last season under Villaharm. 2 transfers coming into this season of Tamberg and Koga are game changers. You've brought in a striker who scores consistently and a defender who doesn't let anything past her. Combined with the signing of Lisa Kopp from back in January, are probably their 3 best players right now. Ball into the box. Tottenham trying to keep this move alive. Out now to the right-hand side. Naz tries to deliver it into the box. It's blocked well. as is a Tinker-Tango, it was also a last-minute deal. Yeah, exactly. David says Man United deserved to lose for bringing on Rachel Williams yesterday. But that's another one. Why was her contract renewed? I'd rather have seen them keep Kira Barry and give her opportunities. I don't mind that she's gone out on loan, but yeah, it's not one. The only reason you would keep her, I guess, is if you view Kira Barry as coming into first team football next season, in which case there's no point really buying a striker. But they could have loaned in an older striker for a season or something like that. Or signed an older striker on a one-year deal and say, look, we just need you for this one season. Come in, give us a give us your best. I guess that's why they have Rachel Williams, but she just comes on and isn't at the level anymore. Seke holds the ball up well. And it's one back there by Vinberg. And then cleared away. Drops now for Seke. Heads on to Camacho. A pass back inside to Olis Lagers, who's inverted well. Goes wide. Into Kankovic. Agumang flicked round the corner. Dealt with by Tottenham. And then that's cleared away. Into Martha Thomas, who holds the ball up well. Now looks to go down the line to the run of Jess Naz. And Pomme will beat her there. And knocks it out of play. Not what they need at this stage of the game. Brighton should have gone back to the goalkeeper. Tottenham now can keep the pressure on in this corner. They've got the ball. They can just get into the corner and hold on. Or try and get a goal. But going for a goal would be ballsy in this moment. And there's a goal in London City, Liverpool. It's London City Lionesses 1, Liverpool 0. Finally, the only game in which the deadlock isn't broken. We see the deadlock broken. Smashed up. But by whom? Not sure, but it's a London City player, and it's Elena Linardi in the 90th minute with a penalty. And I think Rafaela Borgraf may have conceded it. Because she got a yellow card in the 86th minute. And Nikita Paris, yes, it was Borgraf. There we go. Paris draws the penalty. Borgraf brings her down. And Linari smashed it home. By the sounds of it. So Liverpool lose again. Not a good start to life for Gareth Taylor. London City Lionesses is going to somehow be on 6 points. They've just not been very good. They're beating Everton and Liverpool, and neither of them are very good sides at the moment. And then they've been tanked by the top teams. But yeah, strange penalty call, says Phil. Michelle Kang's had a word. They got lost in translation. She went to the WSL and said, we'll pay you for penalties. And they kept giving penalties against London City. She's clarified that. Said, no, we'll pay you for penalties to London City. And now, obviously, it's working. And they're going to get penalties every week. Here's Mpome. Lifts it over the top. And that will bounce through. Well, it won't quite roll out of play, so it'll be knocked out by... I didn't see who that was. Grant who's come on. Mpome. One back there by Grant. Paris studded Borgraf, says Phil. Stav agrees. An LCL player just fouled the Liverpool goalkeeper and landed awkwardly. But because she got injured in the process, the keeper gets booked and LCL gets a penalty. I'll have a look at the penalty and make my own a judgment, but wow. Doesn't sound like a penalty. Flicked on in there. And Koga gets it clear. Can't quite keep it in play there, Kavaji, and it's out of play for a Tottenham throw. Not long left in this one then. And not long left across the WSL. Handful of minutes in all of the games. And it's Brighton who head the ball forwards. Bouncing around a lot at the moment. Kafaji tries to get under control. There's a foul in there, though. As she's arguing that she only shouldered a player. Referee arguing, I guess there's a bit of an elbow in there. Yeah, just nudges someone off balance. I think it's a foul, just. But a dubious one, probably. Three minutes of additional time. in this second half, same as the first half. Katzenellen says, I'm proud of Villa's display today, however. One win against West Ham is insufficient to conclude that our team has genuinely become better. It is England. Cuts it back. No one in there for Tottenham. And it's cleared away. I think Villa's performances this season have all been good, though. Like, they've played really tough opponents and not looked bad. And then they've beaten West Ham today. I think they've got the result in every game they should have got. Apart from, the Arsenal game where they did better than perhaps they should have. But they're now on 5 points from 4 games. They've only won one match. They've only lost one match all season. It just depends on how you frame it. But I think, if they got next week. After this game, Villa play Leicester, Everton, United, London City. They should win 3 out of those 4 games. And then suddenly, that's another 9 points. They're on 14 points. They look fine. Brighton coming forwards, looking for a late equaliser now. Knocked out of play, and that is a Tottenham goal kick. Done really well there, Nilden. Alex says, can you see Rene getting the sack if Arsenal finish 4th? I don't, personally. Phil says, no comment, Alex. I see things very differently to Rene, but only one of us has a Champions League, so I'm saying nothing. Fair enough. Fair enough, Phil. I don't think he should get sacked. I think the Arsenal fans are still, hugely on board with Slagers. Ball forwards, headed away. Drops in there now for Nilden, who gets it clear. Poke now to the left-hand side, Wimberg. Now it's Kopp, who launches it to the left-hand side. That'll bounce out of play as we are into the last minute of the game. Catchdown says, what went wrong for Brighton today? They've really struggled to get on the ball or create chances. I think Tottenham are very good defensively, but Brighton aren't wide enough to challenge, really, to threaten. If the wide players, Seke and Cavaggio, the wingers, wide attackers, are going to be so narrow, the fullbacks have got to get high quickly. But they haven't, and they've massively missed Frank Kirby to unpick this defence. Here come Tottenham looking for a goal to kill this game off. It's saved by Anadozin. She'll look to release it quickly. Brighton, though, won't have time, really, to execute this counter-attack. And that is the full-time whistle. Tottenham 1, Brighton 0. A really impressive display from Tottenham today. Sees them clinch a 4th victory of the season. 4 wins from 5 so far. 12 points on the board for Tottenham already this campaign. A loss to City, the only blemish on an otherwise spotless record. And they are 3rd in the WSL. Who saw this coming? Me. But probably not 3rd. I didn't think they'd be this high. But I did say they have a good start to the season. They have played very well. They've looked very good defensively. It's another win today by a narrow margin, but they defended excellently, and they are excellent in the final third. They finished off their chance. Easterbourne says, ref was pro Spurs. I don't think the ref had a particularly poor game. There was the penalty shout for Seke, but I don't think there was a lot of contact there from Amanda Nilden. So that was the only one really where you could make an argument. I think other than that, ref had a fine game. Oh, it says great start for Spurs. That can be crucial in the battle for the rest. Absolutely. 12 points now. It puts them 5 ahead, I believe, of Brighton. 4 ahead, crucially, of rivals Arsenal. Not a good reflection on the Gunners. It does get much more difficult for Tottenham in the next few weeks. So Chelsea next Sunday will be a big test for them. They'll be hoping to avoid a drubbing similar to the one that Man City dished them. They then play Liverpool and London City, much kinder games. But then Arsenal, Villa and United to see them into Christmas is a very difficult run. So yeah, it's going to be a tough run up now to Christmas. But if they can beat London City, beat Liverpool, Tottenham will be in a very good position. But I don't see them getting anything from Chelsea or Arsenal. But you never know. But yeah, that's is the WSL Sunday. We'll wait for the rest of the scores to come in, actually, because we have still got live action. It's full-time in Leicester. Leicester 1, Everton 1. A big point for both of those teams. It does see them slip down the table, though, with victories for London City Lionesses and Aston Villa. Provisional victories at the moment. There is still additional time in that Liverpool game, though we're in the 90+7 minute there. West Ham Villa, there is added time, though it's not really one to keep an eye on, as Villa have a 2-goal lead, and I don't see them letting that slip. Plus, it's great stream as always. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. Thanks for hopping in. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in today. Technical difficulties for the first 5 minutes where I couldn't even watch the game, and we still had strong viewing, so thank you so much for that. If this is your first time watching the show as well, watching the channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to join us for more. We're live every weekend for WSL action, and we'll be live for every match week of the UWSL as well. So if you like watching this show and want to watch more, then make sure to subscribe for more of that. If you're already a subscriber and haven't already, head on over as well to the Football Content Awards. We're finalists in 2 different awards this year, Best in Video Creators and Best Young Content Creators. If you could help us out, head on over to footballcontentawards.com/voting and vote for us in those categories as well. I know I mentioned it on stream yesterday, and a few people said, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing yet. So if you are one of those who haven't heard us talk about that, we are finalists in 2 different categories. You've got until next Sunday to register your votes, and you can vote as many times as you want, but only once per device. But if you've got loads of devices, knock yourself out and vote for us as many times as you can. Thank you very much. That, though, is everything from me today. I've thoroughly enjoyed the stream. As always, we're back with more on to look at tomorrow for our weekend roundup, and then back on Tuesday and Wednesday with UWCL action. Cannot wait for it. It's going to be very exciting. That, though, is everything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.